Well, hello, my name is Matt Perez, and we're here today with Jose Leal in another episode of rHatchery. And today we have Jean-Claude Artonne, more or less.
That's okay.
He'll pronounce it better than I will. And Jean-Claude Artonne, and we'll have a lively conversation with him as we always do. Jean-Claude, why don't you start by telling us what is it that you do, and what is your what are you doing, and what does your company do, and things like that.
Okay. So first, thank you, Jose and Matt. Very happy to be with you here. And who I am? I'm French. That's my origin. I was living in Canada, in Singapore, so I've traveled like quite a lot, and currently talking with you from Switzerland. So what I'm doing now is mainly building a company that aims to solve the problem of loneliness. So fortuit, like giving more chance, more opportunity for people to meet like-minded people. Of course, I will explain to you a little bit more during this show, and I will be happy to answer your question. But the topic today is something very important for me, but also very important for the world in general. It's a little bit ironic that a minister of loneliness have been named in UK in 2017 and in Japan in 2019, just before the COVID. And everyone around the world have experimented, unfortunately, that social isolation and understood that, wow, to feel loneliness is not something fun. But it's not only fun. 30% of the world is suffering from loneliness. In modern countries, it's up to 50%. And what are the consequences? It's like a big elephant in the room. Nobody was talking about it because it's shame. What I like to say is loneliness hide to die. You know about cancer and all of that kind of things. And it's about 10 million people dying from cancer every year. It's terrible. But it's 6 million people dying from loneliness. It's huge. It has an economical impact, which is massive. Many people have problem, like burnout and etc. But what many people don't understand, and that's a bit what I want to discuss with you today, is that it's not about psychology only. It has a real physiological impact, and you can be disabled at a time and totally incapable to have that kind of connections with other people if you stay too long into loneliness because your body suffer, you have cortisol, and you start to have like more chance to get like a heart disease, Alzheimer, name it. So it kills more than cigarettes. That's what
So,
I.
have you experienced loneliness?
I would say I have people around me who have experimented loneliness, and that was a big question when we were during the during the pandemic. And by the way, Jose, Matt, I tried in your Radical Purpose website the needs profile, and I sent it to
Mhm.
you. So I'm not that kind of person, honestly, who need to have like so many contacts. I'm a weird person for that. I'm more like someone who likes to work, build, understand. Like kind of a book, always with a book around me. So I'm that kind of person who can try to understand, who can try to find solutions, which is what we will discuss today.
So,
But
meaning for you, is it fair to say, Claude Antoine, um,
yeah,
that Jean Claude, pardon me, that you meaning is more important than belonging? That.
absolutely for myself. But
Mhm.
the point is that the DNA, human DNA, is more about belonging usually because it's like a need. In the Maslow pyramid, you have different level of needs, and belonging and love is at the third level. And I would just like make a small things about say a small things about it. If you take all the Maslow pyramids layers, you will find at each layer companies that have market cap in hundreds of billions of dollars, even in trillions of dollars. Not funny. In a very important belonging and love layer, the largest company is about $15 billion, which is good, but it's only $15 billion when you compare to all the other layers. So that means that somewhere this fundamental need for humankind is not covered. You know, and just back to the question that Matt asked me before, and to make it clear, I'm someone who wants to help. I someone who feel pain, from the other. So I have some empathy on that, and that's why for me it was so important, to solve this issue. I did many things like 360 degrees cameras, revolutions in the optics, etc. But that's not something that everybody needs, and everybody, including myself, I like to socialize. Uh, Need to have that feeling that you belong to something, that you belong to someone, or at least that you have a purpose in life. Elsewhere, why are you here on earth? And that's why many people die from it, and mainly seniors.
So loneliness is a big problem, and
Yeah.
I agree. Is a big problem. Isolation from others is a big problem. It's also it makes people weak. It makes people less capable of defending themselves when they're on their own. Um, and and we need a solution for that. There's one question about it. We need a way of bringing that to the fore.
Yeah.
And agreeing that it's there and call it for what it is, and not play games around it. But I think that's an integral part of the system that we live in. We not isolated from the point of view of being like during the pandemic, where you were home and you were dealing with people over Zoom, and it's not the same as when you're in person with people. But the thing of putting people in buckets and stuff like that is a big part of the system that we live in. That's
Yeah.
my point. So what are you doing about it? What are you?
So, yeah, so Matt, first, what you say is true, and it didn't start with the digital era.
No.
It started when urbanization started. The problem is that we are in small boxes, and we changed the natural way people are supposed to behave. You don't need to have thousands of people around you. What you need is
Right.
like a full hands of good people around you. It's okay. A village with 2,000 people, it's okay. You know almost everybody. But as soon as it's bigger, then you don't know even your next door neighbor, and that's one of the issue. Then we develop technologies like hyper connection, like with all the social networks and etc. And many thought that it was a solution. When you sell Coca-Cola, sorry to talk about the brand, but it's everybody knows, like, or that kind of drinks. You sell happiness, people together, because everybody like this idea. Oh, it's nice, to have that feeling of belonging. And then you have like a social network, like the famous one, where you have like so many friends, like thousands of friends. That's kind of craziness. Okay, and in fact, it's not a solution. It's just a way for people to create like a virtual persona and to live through that virtual persona. And what it is, writing just here, be yourself and make friends. And I think it is the kind of values that you are defending. It is really the key. So what you need is to meet the people in person. You need real
Right.
connection. You need to go from virtual to real. But there is a big issue there, is that if you don't understand how works loneliness, then you can make a big mistake, because the obvious solution is put people together in a bag, check the bag, and expect for the best. Doesn't work like this. Doesn't work like this. In fact, it can be worse. So all
Mhm.
the ideas that you can have, oh, we will bring people together, we will organize these things or these other things. No, even the thematics, need some skills, or it's not the point. The people who are not suffering from loneliness, like just say in the modern countries, the 50 to 70% of the people. Okay, fine. Put them together. If they are a little bit like social animals, it will be nice for them. But for the others, there is a cycle that is well been described by Dr. Cassiopo from the University of Chicago. It's a vicious cycle. It means that
Mhm.
uh, when you have a fear of rejection, okay, you are full of an hormone we call cortisol. That's the part which is bad, for health. So what happens is that it changes your behavior and even like the perception you have. It introduces bias. So the one who is like more introvert will see, oh, this guy is smiling at me, like maybe he's laughing at me. So you will take distance. And as we are like monkeys, it's we are animals, like social animals. The reaction will be, oh, I will go back too. Or you are like the extrovert, and you are like, I want to be your best friend. That kind of person that when you go somewhere want to be your best friend, and all the night is here, and like around. At the end, the problem is that two people, who are overreacting, it's because they have no control on that. They have like cortisol, and that fear of rejection will result into a real rejection, so a failure. So if they fail once, then they will have more fear the second time. Then if you will fail again, then he will fail, and then he will stay home.
So what are you doing about it?
So
What can you do for somebody else who's in that
yeah, so
loop
in fact,
of rejection and feeling bad and all that?
yeah, so it's about synchronicity. Okay, what we need is to be sure that people will be at the same time, at the right time, at the right time, in the right place, and with the right people, and that's the key, the right people. So Fortuit, I will not give all the information of Fortuit because you will see that later this year. So I will not give all the secrets, but some few. What is important is, and that's where we build an emotional artificial intelligence. Okay, is that you need people to be sure that you will meet people who are compatible. And I'm not talking about dating and things like that. If you want, I can explain because it's one of the solution. Unfortunately, it's not the right one. And just to give a data, for example, in China, there are huge users of that kind of platform, and 80% of them say it's to find friends. It's not about sex. It's not about finding your love. It's just that they are desperate just to find friends. Okay, but what we see, and it was made by, I think it was researchers from Australia, all applications with that swipe system, bring people to a distress. It is very bad. It's working on other hormones because I talk a lot about hormones because we are like a biological machine, and it's about dopamine. It's about the what is the other one, sorry, it's adrenaline.
Mhm.
So it's not about what we are doing. It's about Fortuit is about oxytocin is that hormone of um, um, empathy. It is about serotonin, which is the molecules of happiness. Uh, and there are natural means to play with that. You have some means we are learning in the food, in the music, but more important is if you believe that you will meet, and our format, I can at least say that it's we guarantee people that they will be able to meet wherever they are in the world at least 40 people in a beautiful place, okay, that is with a specific setup, and these people are compatible. So they are not here to judge you. They are not here about. They just want to do one thing. I will say like a little bit more. It's just like imagine a private social club. That kind of things for the elite. But
And,
imagine
and
that like here, we democratize and it's accessible for everyone. So the point is, we want to answer that question, which is, and that's the key. What am I going to do tonight? That's a key question because If you give an answer to that question, you answer the question of hundreds of millions of people all around the world. And
Jose had a question. Go ahead.
yes,
Yeah,
Jose.
I was just going to ask in that context, Jean-Claude, is that in a digital form? That's the gathering is a digital gathering?
So no, not at all. Because if we were doing that, that will be the worst thing. So of course we will have a backup, in case we have again a pandemic, because better to be ready. But the point here is that the people you will meet the first time at the gathering. We will not have any profile which is shared. We will not have anything. So we just want you to feel comfortable that everything is under control. You will meet nice people. They will be designed by the emotional artificial intelligence for you. So each of the people, in fact, will have a specific gathering that is designed for himself, for herself. Okay, so what is important is just to know that you will not have people where you have a risk of friction. So if you don't have that, then you have no reasons to have like a fear of rejection. Doesn't matter why you want to go there, to make friends, to talk about your new pizzeria because you have opened a wonderful pizzeria, so you want to talk about the community around, or just like someone like me who will use the services of Fortuit just to talk because I like to talk. I'm French, sorry, so. Uh, uh, that will be really everyone will have the experience that will be designed for himself, for herself, and that's where the artificial intelligence kick in. And I know by reading your website that if you understand well, the AI also will manage the team that will be around and etc. So we will be capable not to have a destroying AI that will kill many jobs, but at the opposite, we will have many like new employees and people who will have really interesting jobs thanks to that organization without a boss. So I will retire.
So somebody mentioned here that a real sense of belonging with the right compatible people as your tribe is priceless, and that's what this AI thing would figure out is I submit, you have my profile, Jose has his profile, you have your profile, and it would arrange a gathering that was matched to my way of being and Jose's and stuff like that. So maybe three, maybe two, depending.
No, so it's I think this comment makes all the sense of that. Is it's about being with your tribe, being with your ones. That's why I was
Yes.
taking the example of the social club, because it is only for the elites, but you go there because it's safe. You can drink, you can eat, you can hear some music that you like. You are with your kinds, and that's really what we will build. And yes, about the comment, it's priceless. That's what in fact we need. And what we do at Fortuit is we are not selling, and that's maybe the reason that there are no success in the belonging and love Maslow pyramid layer, is that everybody try to sell love, to sell friends. Come on, you cannot sell these kind of things. But what we sell is the fact that we increase your opportunity to meet. So we are not like in Black Mirror series where everything is arranged in advance.
Yeah.
We want people to have their free will. So what you will have is a panel of people around you that are like not aggressive with you because they are like-minded on many points, but we will make sure that it will not be exactly your clones, because there it will be boring. So that's more interesting to meet people. And when people will meet there safely, that's very important. Safety, they will meet safely. We control all IDs and etc. So I will not go into all the processes, but after that, if they want to meet in real life, that's fine. And why they will come back to Fortuit? Just because why to not use a service that offer you anytime you want, like a good place to rest, to enjoy, your evening. I
Let me,
like to say, yeah,
let me ask a question. So let's assume that times, do a fast forward to the
yeah,
future, and you solved 90% of the world's problem, not on loneliness. Okay, so people who were lonely before had all these hormonal changes and stuff like that are are more centered. They know that
Yeah.
they know they're compatible with people. They feel safe and all that. Um, what will that do to the big
The big
thing that
picture.
we have today? Yeah, the big picture,
Okay.
which includes jobs where you have bosses that are not compatible with you. It includes teams that you may not like 90% of the team, but you may like this one person kind of. Um, but what does this loneliness thing do? Or lack of loneliness or alleviation of, I don't know what the term is, but what will it do for me, for the world?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I like your optimism, but will not be like we will not solve it 90% or 100%. But I have 4 kids, and I hope we can make a solution. At least for them. For the new generations. And I saw a very interesting question. I will answer after that. In the chat, how we ensure compatibility, and I will give the answer for sure. So about the future. First, who will not be safe? And I'm sorry to give a bad news. If you do not have, and not a lot of people know that, if you don't have like social interaction, if you feel lonely, isolated at home with video games, TikTok, name it, then there is a problem. Is you have your an atrophy of your hippocampus, so you are losing part of your brain. That,
Yeah, but I
but,
established that we went
yeah,
forward and
but
we had solved the majority of those
yeah.
problems. We had tools that help people solve themselves, which
So
is the real thing.
so
So
what you will change?
what is, yeah, what would happen to the rest of the world?
Easy, easy, and I can wrap it in almost one sentence. Is that where people socialize,
Uh-huh.
humanity civilize.
Okay.
Okay, because like loneliness is a big part of the anger. Loneliness is a big reason for people. Romans say like give them games and bread, and that's fine. I will not say like, but feeling like you belong to others. It's easier than to entertain your life. So it's fundamental because it's a genetical need. It's in our DNA. You have your tribes, you feel good, you are healthy, and you can live longer. That's it. So after that, what it changed? It will change also the way people will work at the job, because if you have happy camper, then happy campers are doing good job. So many things will change, and I think it's more important because the world will change, and with AI, we will see a lot of jobs that will disappear, but at the same time, we will see a lot of jobs around humans, like about everything which is about entertainment, about socialization, and it's a huge part of the GDP of the GDP. When you count like restaurants, we count about entertainment and etc. What we found, even in the poorest country, like we are hearing a lot about Moldova now, next to Ukraine, which is one of the poorest country in the world. Even in Moldova, we can apply the fortuit methods because they are spending more than 20% of their average income in restaurants and etc. So people need that. People are ready to spend the money for that. So that will generate a lot of job. So back to the question, if you don't mind, because I think it was an interesting question, from one of our guests. Uh, so the way the AI is working is I invite you, if you want to make a test, to go on workwelltogether.io. Okay, so that's Fortuit Partners. So we are working together, and Robert Zwilly, who is like a great scientist, a great psychologist in France, like often on the TV, has built a method. So it's not it's not like the final method, but it's really working well. They have customers in the Fortune 500 using that in the human resources. Okay, so we have technology to understand how people behave, and more especially on the emotional side. And to be complete on the question, every time people will meet other people, you will have the chance to talk with Philou, our AI, okay, on a conversational base, and it will be possible for them to say, I was feeling like on like a scale of 10, like 10 with Matt, and like only 5 with Jose, because he didn't talk too much today. I'm joking. I know you are on your phone. But you will have that possibility. So the AI will learn, and we assume that our AI, by the time, will be almost like your emotional alter ego. One big thing I would precise is that we will make it very clear. We will not buy any data from other social media, because anyway there are too many bias in that, and we will also never sell or give away any of the data of the people.
So
Not
you think the solution is technical or is technological? Is the AI learning so much about you that
so.
it helps you find the people in your tribe and things like that?
No, it will reassure. It will help, and it will reassure you. Okay, but the job, it's you to do the job. You cannot socialize, and I do not believe that the AI will socialize for you. Okay, you have to do your job. You have to do your part. But at least it can remove, the kind of people that you will not have met long time ago when we were living, in small communities. People were more like-minded. So at least you will have that security that the people you meet, not 100%, but you will spend a good time. And among them, you may find a good friend, like maybe your best friend.
And one of the questions that or comments that just came up is you may create a very monotonous place. My friends are more or less like me, and they challenge me a little, but it's all toned down. Um, I would say that's fear talking. That it was this bad, so it's going to be this bad. But it's a valid question. So what would you say to something like that?
Sorry, can you just reformulate that?
What would you say to this comment that the AI would create a group that's monotonous? It's a little bit
Yeah, okay, I
compatible.
understand. I understand. Okay, no, in fact, because the way we will work with the AI is always, to take like the new people to test new groups. So that's why also the 40 number of 40, 50 people is a good number, because it's not too big, it's small enough. You don't have time to talk to everyone, but we will really try to keep diversity. It's except for the people who really hates, some kind of people. Unfortunately, we are not here to judge, and the AI will never judge. But for most of the people, you will discover one thing: you are more compatible than you can believe with a lot of people. It's just that what you need is to be sure that it's the right time, the right place, and the right people. When I say the right time and the right place, the people will be there to socialize and not to do anything else. Just like uh, if I have no plan, my best plan will be for it. Like, why not to please myself and rather to be in front of the screen again? Just like to get out and enjoy nice food, nice drinks, and discuss with cool people. So we will work against the monotony, because, of course, it's a risk, and the way it will be built, it will definitely avoid it.
Okay. And you still haven't answered a question about what
Yes.
does the future look like when
Ah,
we solved a lot of these issues and we have this technology cloud helping us find our tribe and this and that. What is that going to solve? You're still talking about jobs, you're still talking about um, traditional things,
yep.
and we don't see that
Okay.
as a
So
good future. So
yeah, but you know what? We should. I think that's my message. Like old time values were the good values. I don't want to imagine a world where, for example, you will socialize and you will use, like a chat system, or just like it gives you in augmented reality glasses. What you have to say, to get your match, or that's horrible. What I believe in is in a world where AI will be where humans cannot do something. Like, for example, you cannot have millions of people and sort them last minute to be sure that all the groups are with a good tractions. That's AI that can do that, and more. It's important the AI did to do that, because you're sure about one thing: the AI will not judge you. When you have humans doing that, then there is a bias. But when it's down, and people meet, we shut down the technology. It's not about technology. It's about like just be together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? And what we expect is a world where people will discover that pleasure again. And if we can do that, that will be a great thing, because whatever the technology is around, if humans have a behavior of humans, you will feel better. So
Yes,
that's
one last
I
one.
would tend to agree with you that people, there are ways of making people feel better than things are today. Are we at? Yeah, we're past the
We're
time.
at the-
So
past the time. So why don't you wrap it up?
yeah, I got to wrap up. So thank you very much.
my
It's a
pleasure.
very interesting proposition, and we'll like to see how it goes along. And next week we're going to have Kara Redmond, and she's the CEO of Backroom. So Backroom to me has a sense of taking you back and beating the shit out of you. But this is probably a good Backroom. She's smiling in the picture, and we're looking forward to that as well. So thank you very much for hanging out with us and not throwing things at us. And thank you very much, Jean-Claude, for your energy. I hope you succeed.
My pleasure. And don't hesitate to contact me on my linking.
I will.